Thank you, Sir George. I'd like to congratulate my honourable friend, the member for Sheffield Central, as chair, the APG students, for securing this debate, and I'm pleased as vice chair to be able to speak. I'm lucky enough to represent Leeds North West constituency, one of the biggest student population in the country. Our university and their students boost Leeds' culture and our economy, provide lifelong homes for people like me who never quite managed to leave. I know after hearing from students in my constituency, they are taking more and more hours of work in attempts to cover their basic costs. It's not surprising then, the research shows 49% of students have missed lectures or seminars that they are themselves paying for to undertake other paid work. A quarter of students now report they are less likely to finish their degrees as a direct result of the cost of living crisis. Even after receiving maintenance loans and bursaries, the students in Leeds North West and up and down the country were unable to pay their rent and at risk of homelessness. Both the main universities and their student union executives, and I'm sure student unions across the country are doing absolutely outstanding work to support students. Leeds Beckett University have gone above and beyond, putting measures in place, including absorbing 80% of the increase in rental costs to those living in student halls, providing hot meal for £2 every lunchtime for every student, and doubling the allocation of the Student Hardship Fund to £3 million. Similarly, great work being done by the executive officers at Leeds University Union, such as paying for additional course materials, tackling period poverty on campus, developing a basic needs hub for students. Last year, LU offered 200 free breakfasts all the way through December, and the free night bus service as well. LU are also campaigning for a real living wage for student staff. NUS reported 92% of students stated that the cost of living crisis had an impact on their mental health, with 31% of those categorised as a major impact. We have a situation on our hands that has been worsening for a decade, but is now impossible for the government to ignore. We already know that black students, students with disability and students from areas with high levels of deprivation are more likely to drop out of university and less likely to attain a first-class degree. Trans and non-binary students, as well as students of colour, are more likely to have incomes of less than £500 a month. By failing to protect them, this government is devaluing the education of all the students who do not have the luxury of generational wealth. The Tories have consistently degraded the worth of higher education. We saw it when they tripled university tuition fees, we saw it when they introduced cuts to education, anti-strike laws, and we're seeing it now as they leave students at the mercy of food banks and the help from their university or student union or even other students. The fact is that students should not be sent with food banks on campus. Students should not be missing out on their education or to prioritise a part-time job. PhD students should not be left without protections or adequate pay. So the APBG recommendations on the cost of living crisis take up some of these points, and I hope the Minister will listen to the recommendations of the APBG and act on this crisis in our universities for our students, which will have a real life and real world impact on our economy.
Yeah.